They did overdid what?
The companions.
So sick of the fucking auto aim.
Yeah, that shit can get annoying. Shit. Aim is off.
Hop too fucking fast.
Damn,
Damn.
tough cookie.
This one isn't bigger than the other one.
Let me check my Alright, this one says boost the resolve and deal more damage with ranged weapons for a limited time.
Booster.
Ranged weapons is 60% health recover per kill. That's interesting. Weapon technique, weapon stamina regen. Bolster your resolve and deal more damage for certain. But okay.
Oh, it's one of those things.
This one says here, increased build-up effects. Oh shit! All right.
Oh my god, man. That fucking thing got in my way, man.
I'm gonna have to make a. I see. Unlimited spirit energy. Checks knock down targets. Oh wow.
Those fucking little grim things are.
special health deflects 20% melee damage. Shock damage. Oh.
Nemean Crush. Yeah. That was a light runic attack in the first one.
It was a what?
It was a light runic attack for the blades. The Nemean Crush. It's a heavy one in this one.
Oh, 2018.
Yeah.
I probably should take, yeah, I can go in here.
What are you talking about? Sounds like he's talking about Infested.
Me. Straight up now, tell me, do you want to get a lim? Oh, Fire Gleam, okay. He was in there.
I actually wanted to play Dreams.
Dreams? Why are you so vehemently against playing this storyline?
What are you talking about?
I actually don't want to play the biggest game of the year. I will play Dreams.
I guess I just don't play games like that, man.
Hmm?
I said I guess I just don't play games like that.
Like what?
Like I play multiple. Like I could jump to a different game without feeling like I'm missing out on something. You know what I mean?
I only say that because I want to
Like
have
a
a
lot of
discussion
people
with the
like to.
storyline and stuff.
No, a lot of full goofa. I just gotta choke. See the hot goofa.
Other people chill. He needs to purge.
No point using fire against that.
If that's the case. Spot for you. Shit, don't do that. Fucking bitch.
A lot of people they kind of like to rush through games, man.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Give it a rest first, so I can.
What the hell?
I could tackle you. There's somebody behind me.
Damn. What? One hit, you're death. Alright. two of them, of course. Unlocked. Come to find out, this unlock is gonna work the same on higher level enemies.
So if it ain't here, then where the hell is it?
Ooh.
I should dig site. So it can't be there. Let's try it here.
Ooh.
The blue one is your brother.
Sit down, bitch. Oh, what the fuck? Oh, this motherfucker woke back up. Oh, that's not good at all. Okay. Alright, I'm gonna have to come back. He woke back up. Yeah, we'll come back to this one. Let's go. Killed the dude and he freaking woke right back up. The leech was still ripped.
You'll suffer for that! Face my blade! so fast!
Okay, pain's easing.
What?
What is this place? Better shake off this wet. Hup.
got this good.
Fuck.
Mind if I borrow that weapon?
Oh, you bitch.
That's all I had.
What the fuck?
Oh, Brock. Most realistic reaction ever. The fuck? I like when he said that. What the fuck? What's that? What'd you say?
I think this is a memorial. Must be for a beloved friend. Someone left a note. Here we remember our friend, with a view as calming as his voice, on stone as strong as his spirit. He was not just our rock. He was our oak, sturdy and stoic, whose presence brought us comfort, and whose branches touched us all. Rest in peace. It sounds like he's truly missed.
Must have been a vantage point battle.
fucking area was called Tides Reach this whole fucking time. That's super irritating.
It's the Outlander.
I found the raiders you were watching for. You don't need to worry about them returning.
Then you served the justice that the sea denied us.
Have you had any more trouble with raiders?
Nothing of note. We're keeping a better watch.
Hail, Outlander! Walk with honor.
Pass those lines now.
Is the turtle dead? I guess he didn't make it through Fimbulwinter. Sorry, Charlie. Oh, he's still alive. Oh, never mind.
Hot darn it. Fucking bitch.
You're mine!
Chris Righteous was low key responding to me by high key, but low key.
Oh, so
He was saying that because I mentioned in my podcast. I'll let you watch it, cussing. It's important. Very important.
I like that picture, like that still shot. Look cool. Oh, so it's one of Odin's ratings.
It's his rating, Ravens. It is his Ravens. Right and left hand men.
Oh boy.
What?
What happens next?
Yeah, so basically
Heimdall.
I was saying that Japanese gamers or Japanese developers need to progress
Supplies
their
for
mechanics
traps. Rogan must have been
past,
preparing for the
from
hunt.
what they were doing back in the PlayStation 1 days. It feels like their games are basically like PS1 games were like fucking new coats of paint. They don't even bother with like animations, or if you walk to the edge, one foot be fucking hovering in the air. Like they don't do any of that shit. Not all of them, but like, a lot of the Japanese developers. And then he goes and replies like, they're squeezing in between cracks. They need to stop doing that. It's old.
There's supplies for traps. Roga must have been preparing for
What is it that you want from Japanese developers?
The technology to progress like everyone else, like every other developer. You know when you play Zelda, right? And when he's up on a hill, one foot is higher than the other, which I believe they call it inverse uh, inverse schematics. That's a technique that a lot of Japanese developers don't even use. Just simple shit like that, you know what I mean? Or if he's like, if they're on the stairs, the engine could put their foot on an appropriate stair instead of just floating in space.
Yeah.
Or just good facial fucking facial animations, motion capture.
And which Japanese games would you want this to be a part of?
Well, Square Enix and Namco Bandai seem to be doing it anyway. It was more along the lines of me talking about like Platinum Games and Game Freak. Not necessarily like everyone, you know what I mean? Wherever it applies, like obviously like Zelda is an anime style game, you know what I mean? So it wouldn't make sense to do like facial motion capture. That makes no sense.
You want to see more stuff like The Last Guard?
You're too far from the PlayStation.
You heard me?
I'm still breaking up a little bit.
I said you want to see more stuff like The Last Guardian.
You see how like when Japanese does things, when the Japanese will do things, it's like if they really put their all into it. Some of the animations for Trico, in that case,
The hunting camp.
is like really advanced.
Rhaenyra confronted her father.
Even
With my focus.
Shadow of the Colossus was doing inverse schematics, and it needed to do that because the the Colossus would move. You know what I mean? So the game had to take account where your foot would be placed anyway, and the momentum and stuff. It looked like they stopped doing that shit with the PlayStation 3. You know what I mean? So a lot of their games kind of like played like basically PS1 or 2 games with a new coat of paint. Very simple shit. It didn't really progress anything forward. Final Fantasy was extremely linear. And it took like a whole generation for them to shake themselves out of that.
A jar of oil knocked over.
But it's like
When Garoka and Rhaenyra were fighting.
my
Some of the oil might have gotten on Garoka. Looks like there's a trail I can follow.
my issue with the Japanese is really Nintendo and how they get away with it. You know what I mean? Like you guys keep buying their fucking games, and they just keep getting worse. That Pokemon shit is bad, man. Now it's not even just performance, man. It's fucking. There's like a lot of glitches.
Yeah.
In Platinum Games, man, like.
A claw strider. And a lot of traps. That must be Garoka. I better help him.
There's a part of me that really does understand that, you know, because there should be
Understand?
where, yeah, there's a part of me that like understands the sentiment, you know, of them like updating their technology and stuff, you know. I mean, I do think that there should be like a bridge between, you know, utilizing like more modern technology to, you know, to make your games look and play better. You know, there's a part of me that doesn't like that too. At the same time,
Why is that?
because I feel like a lot of games have kind of like lost the they kind of lost that fun factor. You know,
You think that
like a lot of them look nice.
you think that them advancing their technology is going to make them lose their fun factor?
No, I think it's gonna change their focus.
State
you
your
know.
name, Outlander.
Because when I play Nintendo's games, and I know a lot of people play them, right? They're
Rhaenyra
like some of the
asked me to
they're some of the
find you.
most fun games that
She's back in the village.
you know, that I've
She's
played. You know what I mean?
recovering from the wound from
And
your fight.
even Sony's games are not that kind of fun. You know what I mean? Sony's games are different, and they have their own kind of like, you know,
Come.
I guess
We have to get moving.
feel to them.
There's a squad
You know what I
deeper
mean?
in the forest.
But they're
that are
not
about to walk
fun in
into
that
an
kind of
ambush.
way. You know what I mean?
By who?
Um,
Rebels?
You mean like a sandbox type fun?
Spineless
Yeah,
scabs.
you know, like you can
All the
kind of like
same, I could
run
use your
around
spear.
and, you know,
What do you say?
Fine.
you know, kind of do
Where's
your
the
own thing
squad?
or whatever,
This
depending
way.
on the game, right? Nintendo's games are like fun in a different kind of way,
Like
you know.
what?
Like it's just a pure like
We'll make faster
there.
time if we cut
It's
through the
simple.
Please
It's
center.
like a very
don't. You
pure, simple
know,
How do you
fun.
know about the attack?
I say this
Yeah.
I've been
because
watching enemy
I need you
movements in
to
the
articulate
mountains.
it because
They've been trying
I'm
to take our
gonna
territory
use
for years. This is
this
just their latest
conversation.
attempt.
Years. Gall's rebellion isn't
I
that
think it's a
old.
simple fun. You know what I
Something's
mean?
off here.
Like you jump into the game. There isn't a whole lot of like crazy cinematics. You know what I mean? You jump right into the actual like gameplay.
No!
And the way that they kind of like, you know, present their mechanics and their gameplay and stuff, I think that has kind of like changed a little bit over time. But their graphics don't look that great. You know what I mean? And I do think that the games are like incredibly fun. You know what I'm saying? I think a lot of these newer games, they don't have that kind of fun. You know, and the only games that really have that kind of like simple fun, you know what I mean, is like indie games, really. You know what I'm saying? Because some of the AAA games, they're either like really shitty, you know what I'm saying, because they're trying to do like some kind of crazy microtransaction or whatever, or it's like they focus so heavily on the technology that they forget the game, you know. But like I said, on the other side, the flip side, I do think that there should be a bridge somewhere, you know, like the whole I mean, I don't really like Pokemon, the new Pokemon. I can care less. I haven't been a fan of Pokemon for a long time, you know, but it clearly you can see that what they've done with that game is definitely like below standard. You know what I mean? So I can't sit back and say, you know, oh yeah, you know, the game is fun when it looks and plays the way it does. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not, like I said before with this whole balance thing, I don't think there's a balance in that. You know what I mean? The game could be fun. I don't know. I haven't played it. But I mean, in 2022, going on 2023, I mean, yeah, I think the graphics look a little bit, you know what I'm saying? So, but that's just my take on it, man. I understand it to a degree, you know what I'm saying? But from my perspective, man, I think a lot of these newer games, man, they're really not that fun, you know. But I guess that's really subjective, right? You know, because what I find fun or somebody else finds fun might not be the same thing, you know.
Yeah, but I guess you know, my question to you would be like, what would you consider fun? You're saying that Nintendo has this charm, and to me personally, not a lot of Nintendo games really make the mark for me. And my reasoning is that I can't get down with. To me, it's like lazy.
I was so sure they were. Never mind.
I don't know,
We have
man,
to get
because
to the squad.
like Pokemon, yeah, for sure. Bayonetta, yeah,
Definitely not all there.
you know what I mean. Some of the other ones I can't really agree
So
with.
for instance, Kirby.
You know,
What about that?
what part of it?
Would you think that's a really fun game?
I actually thought that game was kind of boring, to be honest. I'm gonna be 100% with you.
Now Metroid, right? Metroid isn't really made by them. You know what I mean?
What? No.
By who?
No
Nintendo?
memorial
Mm-hmm.
for fallen soldiers.
What of it?
I think we're.
It's not them that's making it, so I can't consider Metroid. It feels like Zelda is like the. You just assume that it's Zelda, like that's like just Nintendo.
Roka.
You know, they make other things too, and to me, like their other games, like all right, take Zelda off the table. What other Nintendo games are really fun
Aloy,
that you have?
Phanera
That's so
asked me to find
charming.
you.
That I have.
I'm
I
guessing you don't
mean,
remember what happened.
are you gonna
I
be
went
like,
away
I don't
until I
consider
didn't
that
want
because it's not Nintendo?
It has to be Nintendo
Why are
made.
we here?
I
You
mean, if
told me
it's
that it was a
exclusive
squad
to the
that was about to
platform,
be
that I would
attacked.
consider that to be made by Nintendo.
This is where it happened, isn't
That's not accurate.
it? A long time ago.
Yes.
Then I don't know.
My
I
squad.
mean,
Nintendo themselves
I
as a
actually,
company, they develop their own
Smarter than
games.
you.
So just because it's exclusive to the console, like, doesn't mean it's Nintendo.
No.
Phanera thinks you've been
We're talking about
sneaking off into the
specific
forest to hunt.
developers. If that's the case,
You've been
you know
coming
what I
back
mean?
here.
At least the
Game Freak is not
publishers.
even Nintendo.
There's no
I know it's
easy
not
way to
really,
say this,
but it's their IP.
She's hurt.
All of them are their IP. Metroid is their IP.
She tried to stop you from leaving.
Metroid, Fire Emblem,
They fucked up
Kirby.
they fucked up a lot of
Everything is
Metroid games up until this one. They kept handing it to different people that wasn't doing it right, the justice. So my question to you is just mention the games that you consider that will be harmed by budget.
By harmed by budget?
alone in the forest.
See, I don't think that's accurate, man. I don't think
How long has it been like this? This far?
I don't necessarily. It depends, man, because I don't think that just because of them like adding fidelity will harm the game. You know what I mean?
But you
What I'm talking-
but you allow for them to just make these games that are not like pushing anything, and you say that they're fun. So it's like
finding myself in the forest.
Well, I mean,
Sure
I'm
how I
talking.
got there.
I'm not
Why
not
hadn't
going
you
to,
told Phanera?
you know, sit and say
was I
that,
supposed to
you know,
say?
games like
That I'm
Pokemon should get a
unraveling
pass. No,
Like afraid we
you know
grew
what I'm
up?
saying?
No.
I'm not going to do that.
But look where that's gotten.
But games like Metroid,
She has
I'm
no
not going to
idea
complain
why
about
you hurt her.
Metroid. You know, Metroid, Fire Emblem, Astral Chain, which was a
So
platinum
the
game.
Sky Clan ambushed your squad a
And-
long time ago?
We were almost through with our patrol.
And they do,
About
you know,
to head
games
back
like,
to the village when they
obviously
swarmed us.
Zelda was one of my favorite, is
I
one of my
alone
favorite games
survived.
of all time, really.
When my wounds
all right. So
scarred,
Zelda, what else?
I returned here and built a memorial
The Mario
where
games.
My comrades fell. And then I struck
what else was
down
there
twice
that I
as
played on
many of their
Nintendo?
soldiers in retribution.
Games like, some of them were Square Enix games, like,
I'm not only Nintendo because I don't have a problem with Square
Earlier you said
Enix
the
in general.
enemy had been trying to take the lowland territory for years. I guess that was
think,
during the clan wars?
Before
I think
Hikaru became
those are the
our
ones that I
chief,
play.
our clans were constantly
Yeah,
at
I don't
war.
really play the other
We
ones. I
fought
don't play
over
like
every
Mario
inch of this
Bros. and
forest.
people
The
like
ruined
Mario
village
Kart. I don't play
nearby
that
is a
stuff.
remnant of those days.
I don't play Pokemon either.
No matter how many soldiers
Oh,
fell,
Xenoblade.
there
Yeah,
was
Xenoblade
always
is one.
another vendetta to pursue.
Xenoblade is a good one.
They say that's why
I
the
wouldn't
blood of
complain
the
about that one
Sentinels
either.
runs red.
What's a game? Okay, so let me actually look at Xenoblade myself because I haven't really ever looked at it, and I'll tell you what I'll say if what I'll
We
see
should head
if
back
it's
to the
anything.
village.
Wait, the memorial. It's missing a piece there.
It's very
A
traditional,
marker of
like
metal,
kind of a traditional
made from the
RPG.
blades of my fallen comrades. Where is it? It has to be around here somewhere.
It's
I
not
have to
one of
find
those
it.
like super
I know it's-
graphically intensive
I know
ones.
it's-
Is it Xenoblade
Hey.
Chronicles
Calm down.
Yes,
Let me take a look.
3?
Okay.
all of them.
I want to take a look at the latest one. That's
Should
one.
scan the memorial with my focus.
Yeah, 3 is the latest one.
Do you see the marker?
Tracks. Leading away from the memorial.
Lead the way.
Bayonetta was another one that I really liked. Bayonetta 1 and 2. I haven't played 3 yet. Luigi's Mansion. Mario Odyssey. Splatoon is a really good game. No More Heroes is a really good one.
Clamberjaw.
They might have scrapped the marker.
Paper Mario.
It's like an RPG.
On your lead.
But the way that game, like, how would that be hindered by technology?
Which one? Xenoblade?
Any of those games you just mentioned?
I don't really think that they would be. Not specifically.
So why shouldn't they advance their games? Why do you feel like that it's good the way that it is?
Um, because I don't think that there's anything wrong with the way that they are. I mean, art style wise, I mean I don't really care about the graphics that much. I really don't. Like, I'm not one of those guys who cares that much about graphics. You know what I mean? So I'm not on that crusade. You know, like the graphics have to be spectacular. You know, I'm more about like art style. You know, and all of those games have fantastic art style. You know what I mean? So in light of that, you know, like to me the graphics not really mattering that much. You know, I don't really see the problem with those games at all. Really.
All right, so Zelda kind of pushed the envelope when it came to Zelda in general. You know what I mean? Like Zelda, that's how Zelda should be. You know what I mean? Should always be like an open world game because that's how the other 2D ones were. They were just they were just like overhead in terms of. Fucking bitch, I'm hopping around.
Bro.
What?
I guess it's kind of hard. Like Fire Emblem, for example, would be kind of hard to like, you know, if you're not really into that type of game, then it's kind of hard to explain how, you know what I mean? Like I've always liked, you know, RPGs and JRPGs, and that's what I played growing up, man. That was my thing.
I thought you said action and adventure on Twitter.
It is action adventure.
And there's RPGs.
No, I mean I'm saying that I do love action adventure games. I've always played those games. I would say that's probably my favorite genre.
What is? RPGs?
Action adventure. No, action adventure. Either that or, like I said, RPGs. And Fire Emblem is like really, it's kind of like Persona 5, you know, but it's like a strategy game. You know, Persona 5 is kind of like a straight on like, you know, JRPG, you know, where you have deep encounters that you run into in the game and the story or whatever. Fire Emblem is like literally like you put the characters on a board and you have to figure out like you have to strategically figure out how to kill the enemies. You know, and,
yeah, you can't really advance that really.
Not. I mean, aside from maybe trying to make the graphics look better, maybe.
Yeah. So, but I don't see you running around talking about that all the time. You're talking about Zelda more than anything.
Because Zelda's my favorite one.
You're talking about all these games are traditionally funner than. You know, like let's say like Sony games or any other like Western AAA game. So it's like okay.
I would say.
Is it because of the genre?
Find the marker.
Probably.
Might be in one of the Clamberjaw scrap piles.
I think I know why, but hold on.
Maybe I just like Japanese stuff. I don't know.
No, because not all Japanese stuff is, you know, the same. There's certain Japanese that you're looking for, just like Chris Righteous.
No marker here. I better check another scrap pile.
See, I'm looking at, okay, so I'm looking at Fire Emblem right now, right? Animations are shitty, man. Absolutely shitty. Like, at least try to make that better. But then you can blame it on the hardware, you know, so. You know, you just run around. To me, it's like the whole game is basically based off of its combat engine. Everything else be damned. There's no real exploration from what I can see here.
No, it's not an exploration based game.
The fucking special effects are like lacking. Like I don't have a problem with the actual battle system at all. That's not the problem. It's like, can you add more? Like their games have been playing the same way for decades. You can play Final Fantasy X and it looks very similar to Xenoblade Chronicles. Looks very similar.
Yeah.
You go down through this corridor that you can't go anywhere else. You can't jump. You can't swim. You can't do any of that shit. You know what I'm saying? All you do is run from enemy to enemy, you know, and figure out how to beat the enemy. But the action, the adventure aspect isn't really there, and the role playing isn't really there like that either.
Which game are you talking about?
I'm looking at the Xenoblade. I should say role playing. I'm looking at Xenoblade Chronicles from what I'm seeing. It's like
Got the marker. Now to give this back to Glover.
So what do you know about the RPG mechanics?
these are all observations. You know, I won't lie to you on that one. But I've been playing games long enough to know that, you know, every RPG, like, there was a renaissance of RPGs back in the PlayStation 1 and 2 days. And with this supposed, you know, renaissance, right? Everyone took the same formula as any other RPG and then remixed it. And it's been like that for a very long time. Like you look at Final Fantasy, what do you call it? You look at Final Fantasy, why is this fucking mission bugged, man? You look at Final Fantasy, what was the one where you had the 3 people? I mean, or you had the group of people that drove the vehicle?
15.
15, right? At least they tried something different. Hate it or love it, you know what I mean? It was not, it was unique in that aspect, you know? When you have the same,
a lot of people hated that, man.
I know they did.
Departure from the Final Fantasy.
I know they did.
Because of the graphics. It was because of the fact that
it didn't play like the other ones.
It's not even that it didn't play like the other ones. It was the fact that it was essentially not a Final Fantasy game.
You can't say that it's not a Final Fantasy game when they make it. That's how they define it. That's how they envision it. They envision a Final Fantasy game different from the developer's vision.
That was one of the ones that a lot of people didn't, because a lot of the Final Fantasy games had very like similar traits, like Final Fantasy 14, right? Final Fantasy 14 has some of the traditional Final Fantasy traits that you would see in their games. 15 didn't have a lot of that stuff, you know. That's why people didn't like it, you know.
Here, I think this is the
like what you're seeing in Final Fantasy like 14 or whatever is not what was not present in 15. You know, a lot of
I know, but the thing is, right? I have a friend that plays it, and I watched them play it for a good amount.
The fog is gone.
So it doesn't look like your traditional Final Fantasy, right?
I'll head back to the
but it's like the people that are fans of Japanese games, man, they don't want change at all. They just want the same thing over and over and over again.
Well, at least I can tell Faniro why Garoka's
even when they made Final Fantasy VII Remake, they were, please turn-based. You know what I mean? It's like, it's a reimagining.
I can understand though, man, because like when you add like that active combat system, man, it changes the whole dynamic of how the game works, you know, and it's just not the same type of like strategy that you have to consider when you're doing a turn-based RPG. You know what I mean? And personally, like, I don't I don't particularly mind it, I guess. You know what I mean? If I had to choose, you know what I mean? If it's an RPG, you know what I'm saying? I would go with the turn-based because there are certain things that you can't get away with, man, being a turn-based game that you can get away with being an active-based game. You know what I'm saying? Like the RPG elements in a lot of these active-based games are just... It's almost like... I'm not going to say that that's not that they're non-existent, but they're kind of like watered down. You know what I mean? A lot of them are watered down because of it. You know, because you have things like dodge mechanics and rolling and like a guard button. You know what I'm saying? That takes away a lot of, like, just having that in your games automatically, like, eliminates a lot of the strategy that you would have in a turn-based game. Because you can't guard. There is no guard button, you know? There is no dodge button. So, like, what you have to do is you have to figure out, like, how do you build your character, right? For all of these different situations and stuff. You know what I mean? You can't dodge. You just literally can't dodge. So, like, instead of dodging, like, you would have to have one of your party members be like a berserk or something. You know what I mean? Like, you would have to build them for high defense, and then have them, you know, take most of the DPS, the damage per second, right, from the enemies and stuff, while while your other party members focus on the other enemies or whatever. You know, there's a lot of different strategies in how you do it. You know. But there's a part of me that gets it, man. It's like, you know, when you start modernizing all of it and start making it like open world, and, you know, you can move around in the environment, and it makes it like it's an action adventure game, and, oh, you know, you can explore the map and shit like that. It waters down the actual RPG element. But I mean, I guess
they're just doing it wrong.
I mean, do you have a good example of one that does it right? Because I haven't seen one.
I would say the adventure aspects, they need to, you know, make an... Okay. I don't have a necessarily example. I don't have an example because you know what? The problem is they're afraid to do what I'm going to suggest.
Like, see, if they did like for example, if they did Legend of Dragoon, right? Legend of Dragoon had the addition system. You know what I mean? Where as you level up, you get the additions, right? And then each addition that you get, you use it to level it up, essentially, right? So you can get more additions and make it more powerful and all that other kind of stuff, right? And then they had the system where you could counter the enemies, right? When you had that orange circle, you could use that to counter the enemy's attacks and stuff like that. And then once you attack, the enemy can, like, counter you, and you could have that window of time where you can counter their attacks and stuff like that. You know what I mean? I can see that working in a more modern game. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, actually, my bad. You know what game does it? Xenogears.
What about Xenogears?
It is able to do that. Is able to do the adventure aspect and the RPG aspects, right? And then still keep the turn base. See, it's like they're afraid to do that shit. You know what I mean? Because they wanted to, like, have mass appeal. You see what I'm saying? Have you played Xenogears? Can't remember if I asked you or not.
I haven't played Xenogears yet.
Aloy.
Yeah, Xenogears. Hold on.
My father? It's okay.
I know what it looks like. I have it on my computer.
He's not deranged.
You say you haven't played it, or you just don't, like, I don't understand.
No, I haven't played it.
He thought he was still in the
Have you seen it being played?
save his
Yeah.
squad from an ambush.
I know what it looks like. I know
When
what it
we
looks
got to
and
the
plays like.
memorial,
Have you
he
seen
came
it
back
being
to the
played,
desert.
or you just saw it as a passing
Sounds
by?
like he's been lost in a fog.
I mean, I
I've heard of
saw
something similar, a rare
like people
occurrence among chaplains.
like playing it for a good amount of time.
Their memory fades for
Okay.
20 years. Karoka's not a chaplain, but he is the age of one. Before Hikaru became chief. few
Or
people
even
lived to be so
Grandia.
That's why. Oh, thank the 10. If he was found to be insane, then by rights he'd be put to death. What? No, he's just getting old. He needs care, not a death sentence.
Pretty sure the rest of the village sees that as one and the same. But we'll keep a close eye on him. Speaking of, where is he now?
Here. Oh, little spear. I'm so sorry.
Like, when you play Xenogear, right? They had a map,
You're home safe.
you know what I mean? A compass that was 3D. It was basically a 3D game, you know what I mean?
I'll hold your hand tight and remember for you.
And
You don't have to be afraid.
they also had the turn-based RPG elements.
Thank you for all your help.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of games
Please.
that kind of play
Accept this. Your deeds here,
in a
what you've
ballpark.
done for Phanera, will always be remembered.
Thank you, Aloy.
Aloy? Yes, Aloy.
You're looking more confident. That's good. Strike true as the
Like, I feel like they can have both, you know what I mean? Imagine Xenogears in a full-fledged city. You know what I mean? With like day and night cycles, you can walk around with actual 3D characters. And you may see your enemies in the distance, right? But as soon as you go close to the enemy, the screen breaks and then it puts you into the turn-based elements, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I would say that that's a good concession for both of those type of gameplay.
Low key. This is crazy.
Like, why do you play Resident Evil so much? Like, what makes you like Resident Evil?
The puzzles. And
The
inventory
puzzles?
management.
So,
Yeah.
kind of
it's
like almost like RPG.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like a mixture of genres, you know what I mean? I haven't played the Resident Evil games before, but I like how it mixes the you know, the horror aspect with the puzzle aspect and the survival the survival aspect and the managing your inventory, you know. So like, there's not really a move that you can make that, like, you have to think about your moves actively. You know, like, you can't just walk around and waste your ammo and waste your steps. You know what I mean?
See, when Resident Evil first came out, right? It was a simple, you did puzzles and you couldn't aim or anything. You know what I mean? So what they ended up doing was making the Resident Evil that you see, you know?
The Quinn ship.
It's really
Must be
good.
the one Harriet and Christy were talking about. Currents are too strong here. I'm not gonna be able to swim very far. Should be able to look for that gyro compass with my focus. Machines could have scavenged it out of the wreckage. We should check any scrap piles left around the island, just to be sure.
Yeah, they do.
What the hell?
Let's hope I can find the gyro compass and all those scrap piles. I can turn this around.
That's one of the reasons why I'm not like a huge fan of like hack and slash things, man. For the most part. You know what I mean? Unless they kind of like, unless it's kind of like Bayonetta or something, or DMC, where you can really like, you know, customize your combos and stuff, and give you different types of weapons and shit like that, or like these set pieces and stuff. I'm not really like a fan of the hack and slash genre because it's very like mindless gameplay.
Why did you bring that up? What are you playing Second Sash? This game?
No. I'm thinking of games like Dynasty Warriors. You know, like I can't play games like Dynasty Warriors. You know what I mean? It's too mindless. There's too much of a mindless like button mashing kind of game. You know. So when I play games like Resident Evil, or, you know, a lot of RPGs and stuff, it's not mindless, you know what I mean? Like, you have to really think about what you have to do, you know what I mean? You have to think about how you build your characters and stuff like that. Yeah, like, well, Fire Emblem is a little bit more unique, man, because there's like, they have other systems in play with Fire Emblem.
It's like, I don't doubt the RPG element to it. Like, I don't doubt that shit, right? Stuff like animations and, you know, other things that are surrounding, you know, the RPG mechanics.
I mean, I guess I can't blame somebody for, you know, for their sentiment. I mean, that's not something that I really care that much about.
I mean, you like this game, right? You look at the graphics and you're like, wow, this looks great. Right? Imagine if the Japanese would have technology and art style, like, you know, married together.
It'd be nice if they could find a balance. From a lot of the stuff that I've played, it's kind of hard to have that balance. Like, even Tales of Arise, you know? Its RPG elements are very, like, watered down, you know? I like it.
Something that's a give with them, and it's allowed, you know what I mean, by people that are fans of it. They allow that shit.
Final Fantasy VII's RPG elements are watered down too.
What you say?
Final Fantasy VII, the remake, you know, their RPG elements are watered down too. Guilty.
I think a lot of people that like Japanese games, man, they don't want things to be realistic.
Oh no.
You know what I mean? Because it limits what you can do.
And it takes away that cool factor.
When you make it too realistic, it's like, you know, yeah, it takes away the cool factor. They can't be over the top, you know. But
I mean,
look at Resident Evil, right? Resident Evil, they don't even bother to add ragdoll physics to the zombies falling over. You know what I mean? There's shit like that bothers me about how they make their games. Like, you can't even do the bare minimum and add ragdoll physics, man. It's the same pre-keyed animations when the enemies falls over, you know what I mean? And it's not technology based. Maybe it is. Who the fuck knows? That's what I mean, like, they're not even invented it. Like, a lot of these games can be done on a PS2. These Japanese games.
I wouldn't doubt it.
I mean, you have a game like Shadow of the Colossus that was done on a PS2, but like it is extremely hard to do in general. There you go. What do you want me to do? Search the scrap piles for a gyro compass.
Like, when I look at Fire Emblem, man, I think the way that they attack and move and stuff looks awesome. I think it looks cool. Like, it actually looks cool to look at.
Oh, because animations are animations. The technology for animations is, I mean, it is what it is. You move a character around. So that would remain cool looking, you know? But it's the ragdoll physics, it's the running cycle. It's not doing your whole, like, you know, inverse kinematics and shit like that. It's just, you know, oh well, you know. They know how to animate and make things look cool, but it ends there with the rest of the game.
That's it. This thing took a beating. Not sure it still works. Better take it to Harry and Christia.
This looks really nice.
Maybe they can fix it.
Sheer art style. That wall looks nice. Harrium, rated PG-13. Starts Friday at the theater near you.
I'm not as bad as Fatal though, man. Like Fatal, that motherfucker could just play like.
You're not bad at all. Like it has nothing. You're not bad at all with it. See, the thing is, when you start making games too realistic, you know, you take away the control or freedom of moving the character, interacting. You know what I mean?
That's Tears Temple.
Huh?
That looks like Tears Temple.
I think Tears the Aesir guy anyway, so it could be.
It looks like it. I mean, look at the towers. Tower, the tower right here, and then the travel room right there.
I was looking at you play God of War and shit like that, right? Like when you were fighting. And, huh?
I said I was playing like trash, man.
Well, what I noticed about this game is like
The ancestors. You're back.
it demands like precision.
It's broken. Our last hope.
No. There has to be a way to fix it.
How?
That's probably one of the reasons why I like it. You know what I mean?
It demands a lot out of you. Like you can't.
For us to find. Wait.
The ancient fleet.
It might have what we need.
What ancient fleet?
When we abandoned our ship, we were washed ashore on a beach southwest of here.
There were ships built by the ancestors there.
Overseer
It's
Bohai
like-
would never let us go there.
It's
He won't
technical
risk
enough,
losing any more
man.
navigators.
You know what I mean?
He needs us to guide the fleet
See,
home.
why do you say it's technical
No one's
enough
going
without just
home
technical?
without a working
Why be so
gyro compass.
reductive?
I can get them for you.
You'll need to look for a sensor unit. They're usually on a ship's antenna.
And batteries.
3
of them. They're small, so they might be hard to find.
I've got something.
I mean,
for
I
that.
still think it's a hack and slash at the end of the
We
day.
put our faith in you once again,
Okay.
ancestor.
Why do you think it's a hack and slash?
Because you can